on.
Hello everyone, Melinda with Walpole and Company. Thank you guys so much for joining our first webinar of our training series. We're going to be covering AP, AR, and bank reconciliation today. We won't be taking questions on this call. If you do have questions, you can email us or reach out to us on our phone line, 805-569-9487. We are recording this session, and we will send you a copy. Michael has some topics and agenda on the screen now, so I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to Mike, and he's going to go ahead and take it away. Go ahead, Mike.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so to get started, we're going to be talking about the AP module. We're going to go over vendor maintenance. Let me get out of the screen, open up Sage. Okay, so we're going to be talking about vendor maintenance, managing your vendors. I already have the screen open. So here, you could choose an existing vendor, or you can create a new vendor based on however your settings are. Like you enter the division and then the vendor number. After that, so right now I'm on the new stage. So one of the new features is going to be country code. But if you're on 2019 or older, it's not going to have this. So you'll just have the address, zip code, city, state, telephone number, email addresses, and this is convenient, especially if you're using paperless office delivery. You have a primary contact, a terms code, and tax schedule. And one of the features we're going to be going over today is electronic payment, ACHs. So in order to use a function for the ACH, you're going to need to check this box for the electronic payment. But there's also additional steps, which I'm going to take you through shortly. Additional, you could have a comment for the vendor. You could have a vendor status, active or inactive. If you're doing invoice data entry for accounts payable, you could select a GL that you always hit for that company. Printing sort, so this is if you're printing specific reports, you could have it sort by just airway. You could enter this, so this is a fillable field, so you can enter whichever you like. Here is you'll enter the 1099 information, so if it's a 1099 vendor, you'll just hit this drop down and select what type of vendor it is and select which form, enter their taxpayer identification. Okay, so right now we're going to go over how to set up the ACH. You'll need to go into Setup and go to Accounts Payable Options. Then go to the 6th tab, which is going to be ACH. You'll need to enable the ACH payments and ACH electronic payments. I already have it enabled because I was setting it up. And you'll need to check if you want it to post in detail or if you want it to post in a lump sum. It's to BankRec. It's your preference how you would like to see in BankRec. And you also need to check if you would like the vendor remittance advice to be printed as well once you're processing the ACH. That way you'll be able to send a remittance to your vendor, letting them know which invoices you're paying. And here you'll need to specify a folder of where you want the file to be generated to. I have it on my C drive, but most likely it's going to be on your server, so it'll be a UNC path. And here, these are your preference. So do you want to reset the pre-note when renumbering a vendor, or do you want to allow partial allocations of payment amounts? So say your vendors want you to pay invoices partial to one bank account and then partial to the other. It's totally your preference. I don't have it checked. And then here is the amount of years you want to retain the history. It's defaults to 2, but I moved mine up all the way to 9. And once you have that, you hit accept. And then you'll go into ACH maintenance. Here you'll specify, so I already have one set up, so I'm going to hit the flashlight. And I'm going to select my bank code D. You'll have the cash count, your bank account number, checking, and then your routing number. And you're going to need to have, I already put the pre-note approved. That way I'm able to use this account when we process an ACH file shortly. So this sends the $0 ACH file to the bank just to confirm that everything's correct and you're processing it through your checking account and it's a actual account. So I'm going to hit accept. And now we're going to go back into vendor maintenance. So I already set up this account. It's going to be the airway. And I checked the box already for electronic payment. And once you do that, you'll come to the More tab, and you'll see that electronic payment. And here you'll enter the bank account, the routing number, what type of bank account it is. You can enter a description if you like, and distribution amount. So I use percentage of net amount, and because we're going to be giving the whole amount to that specific account, we put it to 100. Pre-note is usually set to no because it hasn't been sent yet, but I'm putting it as approved because just to speed up the process. But if you do have it as no, there's a couple utilities you could run to generate the pre-notes, send it to the bank just to confirm that that's the correct account, and then you'll run the pre-note register. It's right here, the pre-note printing. So you'll have your selection register, which generates the pre-notes based on the accounts that are set to no already. You'll generate the ACH file, and then you'll send that to the bank. And then you'll run the approval register to basically update the pre-notes to yes, or approved. Let me just move this back. There you go. And once you hit accept here, you'll be able to pay your vendor. I also forgot to mention when you're in the bank code, so you're going to need to speak with your bank because there's different, you're going to need to basically format the ACH file based on your bank's recommendations on how they want the file to look. So you'll need to reach out to the bank and see how they want the file format, and you'll go through tabs 2 and 3 based on what they say. And once y'all done with that, then yes, you could generate the pre-notes and move forward. Okay, so now we're going to go into the actual check printing process. So you'll come to check, printing, and electronic payment. You'll go to invoice selection. And I'm going to have to move mine out a little farther because I am on the newer version, so it's not showing. Basically just one specific company. I need that airway. Okay, so they don't currently have open invoice, so we're just going to generate. I'll show you the quick way to do this. So we'll just go through the setup real quick. We're going to electronic payment. Create a quick invoice just to show you how it looks. So we're going to select airway, invoice number, just put 12. Sorry for the delay, everyone. Okay, so I'm just going to create the invoice, and I'm going to pay it real quick just to show you how everything, and generate the ACH file. Also, one of the features I have set up right now is it automatically posts to the daily transaction register, and that's available in role maintenance to speed up the process. And now we can go to invoice payment selection, select that invoice, and I'm going to select both the non-ACH and the ACH. So I'm going to select these two companies. And I'm going to go to electronic processing. It's going to notify me if you want to cut checks or only electronic payments, so we're going to do both. We're going to use bank code D, double check. I'm going to just print a Adobe PDF just to get this by. There we go. And then it's going to take us to print the register, which we're going to want to do. So it's basically saying start because I clicked it too many times. Now we can go to the register. We have to change the date to 5/31, just like okay. And from here, you can generate the ACH file. And once you generate it, it's going to send it. You're going to choose bank code D, which is correct. Only batches that haven't been transmitted. And we're going to select hit proceed. And it's going to generate that file in that specific location where we set it up. Give me the printer error because I change the printer again. So now when we come back here, you'll see that I generated the ACH file, and this file is what you're going to use to upload it to the bank. Okay, so now that we talked about ACH generation and accounts payable, we're going to go to accounts receivable. So here's where you, again, this is a version 2020, so it's going to have the country, which is new, and if you're on 2019 or older, you'll just have to deal with the addresses, zip code, city, phone number, email address used for delivery, paperless office. You'll have a salesperson, tax schedule, primary, ship tos. Okay, and then if you go to additional, you'll have the comments. You have if it's an open item customer or a balance forward. You'll have the customer status and data entry. You'll have price level if you're using inventory. You'll have a default item code when you're invoicing through AR. So this is going to be a miscellaneous item. And from here, we have that we're going to go over receiving cash receipts. Okay, so I know that on the PowerPoint it said e-invoicing. So this is one of the new features in 2020, and you'll be able to activate company maintenance payments for e-invoices for specific customers. And in order to do this, you're going to be on the subscription plan for Sage, and they're going to be covering this further when we do the 2020 webinar. But here's a brief overview. So you'll come to company maintenance. You'll go to the specific company and go to the payments tab, and you'll enable the payments for e-invoices. Once you do that, it'll give you an option to enable it for specific customers. So then you'll go into customer maintenance, and you'll see that there is a new checkbox here. It's e-invoice payments. And you'll check this for that specific customer. And one of the new features as well, here you go. So let me expand this so it's easier to see. So this is going to be, this is not set how it looks exactly, but there's a dashboard now. It's going to show you all the recent payments for that specific customer. You'll see that when you're in invoice data entry, there's a checkbox to enable e-invoice payments. So it's a quick way for your customers to pay without having to mail in checks or give you a call to run a credit card or things like that. So it's one of the new features, and I think it's going to be really good once it gets everything rolling. It's right here. So now we're going to be talking about invoicing. So in AR, when you're invoicing, you go to invoice data entry, you'll, depending on if you have batches set up or not, you'll hit the next button. You can do the next invoice number, which has the system automatically generate. And I used mine already. Okay, so then you'll select the customer number, specific customer of who you're trying to invoice. I'm just going to select ABF. You can enter their PO number, invoice date, due date, discount date. You can have a terms code. And once you come here, you go to lines. And here is where you invoice. So under these line items, the item codes, these are going to be your miscellaneous items. So you'll have a charge, a comment, or a miscellaneous item. And like how we went over in customer maintenance, you'll see that widget was the default item for ABF, and it defaults to one item, but it always defaults to that item. You could always remove the line by hitting the delete row, or if you're invoicing this item, you could select the correct quantity that you want to invoice. You could choose 1, 2, or however many. Then you'll go to totals. You'll see that your taxable amount, non-taxable, freight. If you want to add a freight, you could put however much it's going to cost. And then sales tax, but since it's non-taxable, there's no sales tax. And then here's the invoice total. And if it's a commissionable item, then you're going to have the amount subject to commissions, the percentage, and the commission amount. Then once you accept, you could print the invoice and then do the sales journal to update the invoice to the customer. So when you go to the sales journal, you'll see that your batch is ready to print. You'll just need to make sure that you're in the correct period, which most of you should be. I'm just incorrect because, again, this is a demo. Okay, so it's going to print, and then it's going to update to the invoice register, and then it's also going to update the daily transaction register. And once that's done, we're going to go through a quick cash receipt. So there we go, cash receipt. Again, if you have a batch open, you can use a batch. But I do have a batch, but I'm just going to select a new one. You'll enter a deposit number, enter your deposit date, and here you'll enter how much you are getting paid. I'm going to put 500, accept. Select the customer number that you're receiving the payment from. Enter if it's a cash or credit card, and enter a check number, which I am going to put just today's date. And you'll be entering the amount you're receiving. And here you'll see that there's a little button right here that says select the invoices you wish to pay. And we're just going to say that they're paying the first invoice. And once you select the invoice, I double clicked it, and then you can hit OK. And you'll see that the invoice pops in here, and it defaults to the amount posted, which is only 500, and there's going to be a balance on this invoice. So you'll hit accept. Once you confirm everything looks good, we're going to print by hitting the little print icon, which takes us to the cash receipts register. We're going to select the batch that we're currently working in. Hit proceed. I'm going to select a different printer just because it's been giving me issues. So I'm going to hit print. And once that's done, I'm going to take you to a bank rec to just go a quick overview of the entries that we just did and show you how they post to bank rec. Again, because I have the checkbox in roll maintenance, I automatically post my daily transaction register. Okay, so we're going to go back in the Sage and go to bank reconciliation, and you can go to check deposit and adjustment entry. Unless you're just ready to go straight to reconcile bank, then you can go there. And we've been working in bank D. So when you come down here, you'll see that our airway invoice, you'll see that the payments we did through ACH should be here. And then when you come here, you'll see that our deposits here as well. But say you're missing an entry, for example, a bank transfer or anything like that, you can always come to the deposits and adjustments and enter the date. So say it's 2020. Entry number. And you need to enter either a bank charge that was never entered in the system or a deposit or a withdrawal, or you could even, like a bank transfer. But for example, let's say we're going to get charged a bank charge. And because we don't have it, the bank under a vendor, and you don't want to enter an invoice, you can just come straight to the check deposit and adjustment entries and enter. Just remember, bank charges are automatically negative, so you don't need, because it's subtracting the money from your account, you don't need to enter the amount as a negative amount. You can enter as a positive amount. So we got charged $5 for one of our fees. Then you'll come here. You could select for a GL posting, and you could take it out of, say, your cash account or your checking account, and once you enter that, you come to the register and update it. And by updating it in bank reconciliation, it'll also, and entering the distribution account for your actually chose a wrong account. I'm sorry about that. Because it's gonna, we'll just choose that. It doesn't matter what GL I choose, but it's gonna take money out of here and put a debit to whatever account's here, because it goes off your bank code maintenance of what GL your bank code D is associated with. So say this is your expense account, and it's gonna take money out of your bank code. So once you update your register, you'll hit yes. Updated to the correct time period. Okay, then when you go into the GL, you'll see that the transaction posts. There you go. So you'll see that the cash and bank was credited and it debits the account that you enter in the bank charge or in the deposit adjustment screen. You choose yes to update. So based on your settings, you'll see that how payments from AP pull into the check screen in the check deposit adjustments. And then you'll also see how deposits pull in with a deposit, and it'll say exactly how much it was. And then from there, you'll go into Reconcile Bank. Once you have all your data in there, you could go to Reconcile Bank, and you'll enter the statement balance based on what the bank is stating, and you'll just start clicking the clears. Say you have a specific and say if all of them, you could choose the green button and it will select like specific periods, or you go by dates, like greater than, equal than. So you can set your parameters to check however many you want, or you could do it manually, just going by one by one. And for instance, if you missed a check and you know it's been posted, everything, and it's in AP, but you could always add a check here as well. If for some reason a check's missing from history, and here it'll tell you which module it came from, if there's a comment. So for example, if you look at the deposit, you'll see that these came from AR, but this came from bank rec because that's where we posted it from. Okay, I do see that I'm running a little over, and if I miss anything, just feel free to give us a call or send us an email. But to close it out, we went over AP, we went over a little bit of vendor maintenance, processing payments for checks, and ACH file generations. I showed you where the file is generated to once you have your settings all set up. We went over customer management, invoicing, receiving payments just through a cash receipt, and I gave you a little brief overview of receiving electronic payments, the new feature in 2020, and basically how those pull in the bank rec as well. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call or send us an email. Thank you all for tuning into this webinar. Melinda, do you have anything to add?
No, that's all. Thank you, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.